You know that feeling, right? You get an email that's so incredibly polite, so full of humble language that it just makes your stomach drop. And later, when things go sideways, you feel completely blindsided, maybe even a little foolish for not seeing what was right in front of you.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The problem isn't that you're not smart. It's that the world we're operating in is, well, it's complicated. We're all navigating these massive data oceans, getting stuck in social media marshes, and trying to survive in corporate jungles. To get through all that, you need a different kind of awareness. And believe it or not, the best playbook comes from an ancient master of strategy, Sun Tzu.
So, where do we even begin? Well, the first lesson, and honestly this might be the most important one, is that real awareness starts way before you make any move. It starts with the environment you choose to be in. Sun Tzu's advice was so beautifully simple. Prefer high ground to low and sunny places to dark. Now, at first that sounds kind of obvious, right? But what does high ground even mean in a world of endless Zoom calls and Slack channels? This is where it gets crazy relevant for us today. High ground isn't a hill anymore. It's a job with visibility. It's a transparent culture where you can actually grow. And the low ground? Oh, that's the dark, toxic environment where gossip is the main form of communication and your career just stagnates. So you've got to ask yourself, are you fighting in the sun or are you stuck down in the dark? And then you have the marshes. And we've all been there, those dead-end projects that just suck the life out of you, those relationships that drain all your energy and give absolutely nothing back. What Sun Tzu is screaming at us across the centuries is that if your environment is making you sick, you've already lost the battle. All right, so let's say you've chosen your ground. Now you have to learn to read the signs. Back then, it was about watching for rising birds or dust clouds on the horizon. Today, we have to learn how to read the digital dust. Let's go right back to that super polite email. This is wild. Sun Tzu literally wrote that when your opponent uses humble words, but is secretly increasing their preparations, they're about to advance. That over-the-top politeness, it's not kindness, it's a smokescreen. They're getting ready to make a move. Maybe for that promotion, or maybe even for your job. But get this, the flip side is just as critical. What about that person or that company making a ton of noise online, using really strong, aggressive language? Sun Tzu says that's often a dead giveaway that they're about to retreat. It's a total bluff. It's a loud performance to hide the fact that they're actually in a weak position. So the real key here is to just watch for the weird stuff, the anomalies, the things that just don't quite add up. That influencer whose tone suddenly changes overnight, that company giving out tons of awards. Maybe it isn't generosity, maybe it's desperation to keep people from leaving. The ultimate rule is this: always, always trust actions, not words. Period. Now, being aware isn't just about playing defense. It's about how you lead your own people through this crazy landscape. And for that, Sun Tzu gives us this absolutely brilliant framework, the balance of what he called Wen and Wu. Think of it like this. Wu is all the human stuff. It's civility, it's empathy, it's building that social capital and trust with your team. Wu, on the other hand, is the discipline. It's about setting high standards and actually demanding excellence. And here's the thing, you are not a real leader if you only have one. And this is where so many leaders just completely miss the mark. I remember I had a manager once who was all Wu, all discipline, all standards, but zero connection. He never built any trust, so nobody actually wanted to follow him. We just resented him. But the opposite is just as bad, right? The all-when leader who just wants to be friends with everyone and ends up with a team that has no standards and gets nothing done. The sequence here is absolutely critical. You can't mess this up. Step 1, you must invest in Wen. You build the trust, you create that psychological safety, and only when that foundation is rock solid have you earned the right to demand excellence, to bring in the Wu. Okay, and for the final piece, let's bring all this into the battlefields that we are all on every single day, the world of data, influence, and vanity metrics. This is what the world tells us victory looks like. A huge number, a massive audience. It's shiny, it's impressive, and it's mostly hollow. But Sun Tzu, he would tell us that the real power, it's right here. Not in a million people who kind of sorta know who you are, but in 1,000 true fans who actually trust you and will show up for you. His wisdom just cuts through all the modern noise. He says it's enough to concentrate your strength and read your opponent. Real success isn't about having the biggest army or the most followers. It's about concentrating your energy where it actually counts and understanding the landscape better than anyone else. It's about positioning, not just numbers. So after all this, what is the art of awareness? It's really just learning to see the quiet clues the world is giving you all the time. It's seeing that toxic job for the marsh that it is. It's seeing through a competitor's fake confidence and recognizing the cloud of dust they're kicking up to hide their retreat. The truth is always right there. You just have to learn how to see it. And let's be crystal clear about the stakes here. This isn't just some fun thought experiment. Sun Tzu's warning is as sharp today as it was thousands of years ago. He who ignores the signals and underestimates his opponent will certainly be captured. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. In a world that is constantly rewarding the loudest voice, the biggest numbers, the most noise, what quiet signal in your job or in your life have you been ignoring?
Subscribe for daily wisdom.